All right.
Moving back, I just hit the start button. There's a countdown timer running over there.
All right, we're so official.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It would be better if I had it here and I could hit the thing here, but
Always room for improvement.
exactly.
Something to strive for.
So enough about talking about me.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about you.
Oh boy. Not that interesting. What do you want to know?
Who are you?
Oh, that's a deep question, Gary.
What's your favorite color? No,
So
you are one of the gods here at CRG.
That's a big
Okay.
word.
What's your title?
VP of Business Development.
VP. Right off the bat, that's a big deal.
Well,
Takes 2 letters on the card.
I mean,
So you don't ever talk about yourself.
I wouldn't say ever.
So let's talk about you.
Okay. If
Okay.
you're making me.
Well, I'm going to make you.
This one's never making it to YouTube. I've already decided.
It's,
Oh, you have the video.
it's set to go.
Man.
It is set to go. So if you were meeting someone at a networking event and they said, tell me about yourself.
Sure.
You know, my line
Yes.
is, I'm Gary Kelley, I'm with Cassetti, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I sling houses for a living.
I love it.
And it always makes them chuckle.
Right.
Okay?
And it goes with your whole diner theme. I love it. Yeah.
I like the chuckle thing.
Good.
Okay? What do you say?
I say I'm Siobhan Weber with Cassetti Realty Group. I'm a realtor and I head up marketing and operations for the business and in conjunction with Andrea, support her on the initiatives she needs. I spent about 20 years in corporate America before deciding 5 years ago to come into real estate. And I just love everything to do with selling houses and helping people on that journey. So
I just saw in the news,
yes,
Kate Merrill,
yes.
you know, realtors are really taking advantage and their commissions are too high.
Right.
You know, so right off the bat, I want a discount.
That's it.
What do you think?
Well, I'd like to talk to you about the value that working with a realtor offers and with a real estate agent. And those are different things. You can be a real estate agent. You don't have to be a realtor. So I'll explain that difference if they're interested in how a realtor subscribes to an additional code of ethics. And then they'll say, but it was the National Association of Realtors who were in that lawsuit. And I'll say, yes, that's very true. But not all association chapters are created equal in this particular area and for our particular consumers. Our MLS resource, the tool that allows us to access listings, is completely decoupled from our local chapter of Realtor Association. And I would also add that we have a lot of transparency in our legal documentation that other areas of the country that are truly being impacted by this and will continue to be, they don't have that kind of transparency. So I actually went to a legislative breakfast yesterday, and we talked a lot about opinions because there's not a lot of facts just yet. So talked a lot about opinions on what might happen and what settlements might do to the industry going forward. And the main takeaway for me in that, and the way that I think, I think this is true of real estate holistically, you're going to win the battle, so to speak, one customer at a time. So to your point, rather than, broadcasting and like Andrea loves to say, throwing up real estate on people, right? It's that one-to-one connection. I want to help you. And I think people can feel that. When I meet them in person, they know that I am passionate about real estate, not because I say I'm passionate about real estate, but because it comes through when I talk to them. And I hope that builds confidence and that my expertise builds confidence and that they start to see there's value. And I can go as deep or as shallow as people want in terms of that value, but getting that clarity for them is how I would want to be treated. And so that's how I treat other people.
How many houses do you sell in a typical year?
That's a great question. Andrea asked me that yesterday. How many transactions do you do a year? And I said, I have no idea. I would have to go look. I watch the numbers for the company very closely. I watch the mechanics for my customers very closely. I don't watch my own numbers very closely.
Do I have to pull my phone out and look it up?
You can. You would know better than I. I measure my success by the people I help. And I could talk to you about my clients and the names, but I don't think about them in terms of transaction volume. That makes me think of when I first got in this industry, maybe a year or two in, I said to Andrea, I'm starting to realize that there's two kinds, loosely, of real estate agent or realtor. There are the sharks and there are the relationship builders. And I know that's a little bit of a mixed metaphor. It's not all sea creature related, but the sharks they could tell you their volume, right? And there's nothing wrong with this, by the way. I think it's just two different states of being, and there's all kinds of people in the world. So some want a shark, right? They want someone who's going to go full out, the most aggressive, every time, every situation, and be very sort of transactionally driven, right? I'm looking at the dollars and cents. I'm not factoring in anything else. The relationship, builders, the relationship managers are what we tend to hire here at CRG, or a mix of both. I truly consider myself a mix of both, but leaning more on the relationship side, because if I can cultivate that relationship with you, I tell them flat out, this goes back to honesty and transparency. I don't want to sell you a house. I want to sell you a house and your mother a house and your brother a house and all your
Right.
friends' houses, right? And you're not going to invite me into your family, which is what you're doing at that point, if you don't know me, like me, and trust me. So for me, focusing on having people know me, like me, and trust me, or what I tend to focus more on that you've called me out on is I focus more on, do you know, like, and trust our brand? And if you know, like, and trust our brand, the traffic might come through Andrea or come to the business some other way. But I find that we really do lift all boats. So by promoting the brand, promote the business improves, my personal life improves as a
So
result.
one of the things that I've observed in different companies, different real estate companies, is that at the end of the year or the end of a quarter, they'll have a sales contest.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get 5 listings, you can go to the Bahamas, something like that. And I really, really scoff at that because in my view, it's not about slamming people into a transaction. It's about solving their life need.
Yes.
And when that's all over, the money will follow. But I don't like that whole let's sign people up now. Do you have a similar feeling?
A very similar feeling. I think if you have to give to get. Andrea and I say that all the time to each other, to anyone who will listen. So you have to do the work first. You have to build the relationship first. And then the money and the referrals and that stuff will come after if you're doing the right things. Most of the time, right? Like, we fall on our face. We try to fail fast and fail forward and keep moving in the right direction. But we're going to stumble, and that's okay. But as long as we're treating people the way we would want to be treated, that's the most important thing.
So if someone wants to meet you, how can they do that?
So they can find me on Facebook. They can find me on
Well, hold on a
YouTube.
second. How would they find you? Don't say find me on Facebook.
My name is actually a tricky one. So
Exactly.
yes, that's true. So would you like me to spell my name?
Whatever works for you.
Perfect. My first name is Sio, B as in boy, HAN as in Nancy. I'm Siobhan Weber Realtor on Instagram. I'm Siobhan Weber Realtor on Facebook. My phone number is 508-725-1457. You can text or call me at that number. I won't bore you with email. Or you can call the office and someone will always know where and how to find me. I'm usually lurking in the background somewhere.
That's because the Andrea answers the phone.
I know, I love that about her. She's got the personality. She's front of house. I try to be back of house.
Okay. But she was vacuuming the floor earlier today.
She does it all. That's it. Because, when you're a small business owner, any small business owner out there knows, and I've certainly learned by watching, really does it all. Accounting, janitorial, recruiting, all of it. So.
With that, Siobhan, give her a call.
Thanks, everybody.
Call, click, or stop by.
Yes.